What's good YouTube, Man of Steel here, and in today's video we're taking on the Gallade EX Expert Solo Battle, which is one of those battles that on paper might not seem like a big deal, but when you think of the constraints of only lightning types and 3 diamonds or less, your options are very limited even without the parameters if you think about it, as not many Pokemon could knock out Gallade EX and no Pokemon in the lightning type is able to do it, as the closest thing would be like Zapdos with 4 coin flips, but once again that's an EX so it doesn't count towards our challenge. And even then, it's just luck based. So what we had to keep in mind was a Pokemon that could somehow withstand the Gallade's barrage of attacks, as well as somehow deal enough to beat it. So we had to get a little creative. But before we show what I ended up doing, let's go into what we're going against, which is, like I said, Gallade, which is 170 HP, and its damage output starts at 70. But due to weakness, or I guess strength at this point, but basically due to our weakness, it's base 90 and it does 20 more for each energy that our Pokemon have. So that's another thing that we have to keep in mind when building our deck. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that Lucario on their bench is giving an additional 20 to Gallade. And then that if they start with Hitmonchan, they're going to be pretty aggressive from the start. So if you go first, they're swinging for as high as 50 damage turn 1, and there's not much you can do about it. Other things to note is the fact that they are playing Giant Cape, which makes this Gallade not only 170, it's basically 190 most of the time. And the fact that they have Cyrus, you don't want to be jumping in and out. I kind of say that in every one of these expert solo videos. But just in case you only search the one you're missing and this happens to be it, yeah, because of Cyrus, you try not to bounce around too much. And the fact that they don't have Sabrina or Geo and stuff like that lets you keep in mind what you're able to take advantage of. And we have a pretty good idea of what they're trying to do, so let's go into the deck that I made for this challenge, which is Magnezone with Electivire. I know on paper it might seem, or it does seem weird or out of place, but trust me, this list was made almost exclusively or basically just for this challenge, and it works amazingly, as Magnezone is the perfect front line to go against Gallade, as well as Electivire is the perfect card to back up if Magnezone is not able to finish the job. Magnezone's ability to not only deal 110 but also drop in energy makes it so like it takes 20 less from Gallade, which comes out huge when you look at the numbers. Magnezone's 140 HP, and if you look at Gallade, okay, so it's like I said, base 70, you add 20 because of the weakness, so it's 90, and you have 2 energy, that's 40 more, that's 130. So base Magnezone to Gallade, you survive by 10 HP. Again, they don't have Geo. Oh, but what if they have Lucario? That means they go to 150, which would knock down Magnezone, but that's why we play Giant Cape. So we're prepared. I know it won't work every single time, but they won't have Lucario every single time either. So it's basically you're playing not only a chances game, you're prepared for basically the worst when you're playing Cape. In terms of research, Pokemon communication, I'm getting those out the way early. It's just consistency based. You're trying to see a stage 2 as fast as possible, as well as back it up with a stage 1. So you don't want to be breaking on cards. Communication helps with that. Although it doesn't guarantee it, it makes the odds a lot higher, or significantly higher, to the point where I feel it's worth playing. And yeah, as far as anything else, we play Volknor. That's what allows Electivire to be the perfect backup. That means Luxray could also be a backup, but the issue with Luxray, that's another stage 2, and I didn't want to have a deck of 2 stage 2s, as they would make it rather significantly inconsistent. So Electivire being a stage 1 that could be buffed by Volkner and swing for 120 after Magnezone did 110 basically meant that regardless of the situation, whether Magnezone was able to finish the job or not, the Electivire would come right behind and knock out the Gallade, which is 170 HP. Again, nothing's one-shotting it in the lightning type, so you had to get creative with it, and I truly honestly believe this list could do it. Hopefully this list, alongside the gameplay that follows up this deck profile, is able to give you enough information or like a guide to beat this challenge on your own. Feel free to comment down below any questions or challenge you've met that maybe I didn't cover, or oversight that I had throughout either the games or describing the lists. Other than that, if you enjoyed the content or it helped you in any way, please consider liking and subscribing, as it means a lot to me. And above all else, stay pro. Second, and we have a decent start. Ideally, we see Magnemite as well. Okay, they have kind of a better start because they're going to be really aggressive, really fast. And they got the cape. Alright. Okay, we got double Pokeball before we even consider communication. Another Electabuzz. And there's Magnemite. We do have the option, which is the one I'm gonna go for, which is just building up this Magnemite. And we'll have multiple ways of searching for the card we need. This Electabuzz does buy us multiple turns. It buys us this and the next one, and then we need to start attacking, so we just need to see Magnezone by then. Especially with the board they have built up where there's no Ralts getting built up. Because Gallade is the only one that's a little harder to take out. But we also have this option, huh? This card is a... Alright, so let's go here. We could definitely do this just to even buy extra time. Again, we'll hold that one for the potential Magnezone. The only issue with taking too much time is the fact that if they see Gallade, it could get a little odd for us. Let's do... The cape is definitely for the Magnezone once we have it. Also, there's a reason not to build up as much energy as I'm doing, because that does make it where we like explode to Gallade. But since they're not building it up, but I guess once we got to Magneton, we could have just started investing in the front line, and that way we could have done some damage. Either way, the end result is the same. Okay, so no Magnezone. We just need to see it here, really. Then back to Magneton. Okay. We'll keep the basic in hand. And we did not see it. Okay. Not ideal, to be honest. So here, I will retreat into this one. And we'll start, I don't know, trying our best here. Realistically, had we just seen Magnezone already, especially with 2 communications, it would have just been attacking 3 turns in a row for the win. But now we're gonna have to work a little bit harder. There's research, so a decent chance to see it. A 1 in 4. Electivire again, and there's Magnezone. Okay, finally. So let's go here. Here, they do have Cyrus, but all that would do is give us more time for Magnezone. And let's start building up Electivire as a backup plan. And from here on out, everything's pretty simple, especially since they didn't see Gallade. Or I guess they probably do have, given like the cards in hand, they probably have Gallade, they didn't see Ralts. There's Lucario, so now they're hitting for 60. And there's the Ralts. There's Volknor for our backup plan. But we'll stick to just one-shotting with Magnezone. The most damage they could do next turn is just the 60 from Lucario. And we one-shot everything on their side. Granted, they do have Cape to make Lucario 120. But as you can see, that's not what happened, so... They didn't have Curlia either? What hand is that? That's crazy. Well, regardless, we'll take our first W in example number 1. And similar to the list from the past, you just choose that one boss monster, build it up, and it's wrapped from there. Alright, going first this time instead. Which does mean if they see Hitmonchan, we're in a way worse spot, yeah, because now they get to swing first. They have initiative on swinging, so... And we didn't start with Magnemite in the back, so actually we're kind of forced to hopefully find an own. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that makes me feel a lot better about our chances. They were about to get really ugly, but now we should be fine. we're on a perfect curve now. And all we need is for that Gallade not to be ready by the time that we are. Pokeball to thin the deck out. It should be just an Electabuzz. Which means this Pokemon Communication has a high chance of getting Electivire for us. But we don't really need it just now, so... I kind of want to build up Electabuzz though. The math is the same though, so let's just go here. What I mean by the math is that whether we charge him now or later, we need to actively add one to Magnezone or Magneton. I don't know. I'm like the more I repeat it, the less I know what I'm saying. If that makes sense. Okay, that's the scary part. Him not building it up is what removes the scary, I guess. I went from scared to like, okay, we could get this. Alright, so there is the Electivire, so we don't need communication for nothing. Let's go Volt Charge here, start building up Electabuzz. Evolve. You know what, I'll keep that there actually, and just put this one down here. And take our knockout. I'm assuming he's gonna put Riolu up front, mainly because his Gallade's not ready. Okay, interesting. Okay, so he does have Gallade. They're not on Dawn, by the way. Their list doesn't have it. So no need to fear that. Okay, a Pokeball just to thin the deck. Not to thin the deck out, to thin the hands. Although, like, that's just like my instinct of like playing around right card, but that was unnecessary. We do have to put an energy here in order to hit for 110. But the good news is that we do pitch an energy. So now the max they could do is 130 unless they top deck Lucario, in which case... But that Pokeball basically means they had already, that's what they drew, so we're fine. This hits for 130 and then we just knock out for game. So yeah, here we're kind of more pressured because they did get the start. And Hitmonchan was swinging off rip, but... We got the most aggressive hand we could have, which is like the perfect Magneton line starting the Magnezone line from the start, so it all worked out.